All Century 21 real estate offices are independently owned and operated.
This is the Real Estate Roundtable with Century 21, Jack Ruddy Real Estate. Good morning. I'm Jackie Ruddy, broker, and with Pat Devaney, my husband, fellow realtor.
Good morning, Jackie. How are you today?
Oh, don't ask. Today, I am terrific. How are you?
Good. We come here in separate cars, so people say, what's the matter with you? But it's a real question.
Some days we really don't see each other, right?
Yep.
So we have with us for the second week in a row, Ralph Pappas, Business Relations Manager with the Lackawanna County Office of Planning and Economic Development, and Debbie Dominick, one of our Lackawanna County Commissioners and Chairwoman of the Lackawanna County Land Bank. Last week we talked about the land bank and all about it, but we're going to continue our conversation this week with some more interesting topics. We're here every Saturday at 11 a.m., Sunday at 11:30 a.m., where we talk real estate. We have a full-time real estate office with many exceptional realtors who've been advising, guiding, and assisting clients in real estate matters for 50-plus years.
Yes. If you have any questions, you can email them to questions@jruddy.com. That's questions@jruddy.com. Or you can give us a call at 570-344-6724. And when you go to jruddy.com, click on the webcam tab and take a look at the webcam on the roof and see what's going on at Dunmore Corners.
View our listings, search the MLS listings, and listen to archive radio shows by going to mobile-friendly jruddy.com, jruddy.com, and look us up on social media, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, Pinterest, and Instagram. And also on jruddy.com, the radio tab, are all of the podcast apps that we feature the radio show on. If podcasts are your thing, check it out.
Years worth of shows there on the archive radio show page.
Yes. I'd like to say hello. From time to time, someone calls me when I'm at the office and we talk. And this girl reached out to me about real estate, and she made it a point to tell me that she listens to the radio show and she loves it. So hello to Janine Port. I do know Janine in a past life, and it's funny because I'm at that point where 30 years ago, I was doing something else. It was actually more than 30 years ago. I used to work with Janine at the Raya House. So for any of the listeners out there that remember the Raya House, it's something that I'll never get over, the closure and then
that place was
the
beautiful.
Demolition of. I still to this day would love to go to the Raya House on a special occasion, and it doesn't exist.
Nope.
No. But we worked there, and we had a nice time. She's a nice girl, and it was great hearing from her. Ralph Pappas, Business Relations Manager with Lackawanna County. Debbie Dominick, one of our Lackawanna County Commissioners, Chairwoman of the Lackawanna County Landmark. Did I say Landmark before, too?
I don't think so.
Land Bank. How are you guys today?
Good. How are you?
We're good, Jackie.
Thanks for being here. We were talking about the land bank, all that it does, but just to recap, Ralph, please, would you give the listeners a little general overview of what the land bank is?
Okay, the land bank, it's a public entity that's to confront the problems caused by vacant, abandoned, and tax delinquent properties through the creation of new tools to enable municipalities to turn vacant, abandoned, and tax delinquent spaces into vibrant places. The Land Bank Act was approved in 2012 by the Pennsylvania legislature, and the Lackawanna County Land Bank came into existence in 2015.
And since then, you've acquired 300 properties, the land bank, not you personally, the land bank, and disposed of over 200.
Yes.
Okay.
The majority of those properties are in the city of Scranton and really all throughout the city in different neighborhoods.
You have 16 municipalities that participate in the land bank, always looking for more.
Yeah, we have 16 out of 40 municipalities and 9 out of 12 school districts. We need the school districts to sign off too, since they are a taxing authority.
Right. So what happens is the city or borough, the school district, and the county all enter into an agreement with one another.
Correct. And
right.
Ralph can talk about that.
Yeah, it's an intergovernmental cooperation agreement where the municipality and the school district will sign off, given the land bank the authority to receive 50% of the taxes for the next 5 years after the transfer to to a prospective buyer. Also, the land bank has the power to discharge and extinguish tax liens, municipal fees.
Anything that encumbers that property.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And the 50% is 50% for the first 5 years goes to the land bank, and the other 50% goes to the 3 taxing bodies. And the reason why it goes to the land bank is to keep us running.
Well, sure.
And he had spoken to it, but basically, in a nutshell, the 2 main reasons for having a land bank is to reduce blight, which is good for everybody in that neighborhood, and to put properties back on the tax roll so that
they're productive.
Yes, so that, all 3 taxing bodies start receiving, taxes again.
Again, everybody's impacted by blight. The neighbors, local businesses, local governments, school districts, county governments, state governments. And it impacts the economy, safety, and public health and environmental impacts on the area. So we're looking to change all that.
And I think we do have some restrictions. Ralph, do you want to talk about those?
Okay. When you buy one of the first things when I do receive an application for a property to be either, whether it's a land bank property or a repository property, I always ask the person, the prospective buyer, if they know what the taxes are on the property. And a lot of times they don't even look into it, because a few times someone went all the way through the whole process, purchased the property, called me up and said, I didn't know the taxes were that high on that property. Well, so anymore, right up front, I say, I ask them, do you know what and I tell them what the taxes are on the property. The other restrictions are when you buy a property through the land bank, you cannot sell it for 5 years without the consent of the land bank board of directors. I'm sure there's reasons that you might have to sell it, whether your job moves somewhere else or maybe you're having a hardship. But that is part of the restrictions when you buy a property through the land bank.
So somebody flipping properties wouldn't be able to purchase a property through the land bank?
No.
Okay.
That's
How
not-
about an investor? Can investors purchase properties through the land bank?
They can, but that's something that I think we're going to have to work out in the future. Have an investor and then sell it?
An investor to improve it?
Oh, to improve it, definitely.
We stay away from people who want to flip it, because we don't want a situation where they purchase a property, they flip it, and then sell it to someone who maybe doesn't have the best interests of the neighborhood and the city in which it's located at heart. And like I said, we have a very open communication with the municipalities that are involved or participate in the land bank, and we assure them that they're going to have a say in what happens to that property. So if we were to allow people to come and flip and sell it to somebody else, then we might not be able to honor that, and we have to. It's a very important part of what we do.
Well, flipping and a flipper, their argument would be that they are enhancing the property. They're making that blighted property beautiful, and it's all about the bottom line for them. So, obviously a flipper has to buy a property low, and with the construction costs as they are these days and materials through the roof and supply chain issues, and we can go on and on about all of those things, it's harder for them to meet that bottom line. And so I could see a flipper wanting to partake in this land bank purchase property, because of course the bottom line would be affected.
I think it can go either way. And one thing about the land bank and the members of the board is that we really do take each case and look at it individually. So, Ralph, you could speak to this. We don't render flippers ineligible, but I think we're just cautious and try to get a plan from them as to what they intend to do with the property. Because, again, we want to make sure that the wishes of the municipality in which the property is located are met.
Good.
And I think, and moving forward now, in case we do have some flippers that come forward, and I think maybe we should look at each one on an individual basis.
Yeah. And that is what, we do that. Even people like we were talking at the time of the last show, some people, who are delinquent on taxes, it doesn't necessarily render them immediately ineligible to purchase a land bank property. If somebody is, behind on their taxes during the the pandemic, we understand that. But if somebody is just chronically delinquent, that's a different scenario. So we do look at properties individually and try to make a decision based upon what we're looking at, as opposed to a more generalized concept.
Yeah, we don't want that person selling the property to someone who is delinquent on properties too.
Right.
We just have to take a good look at it. Yeah. So far, we've been lucky.
Okay, well, good, and it's a great program, and there's so many. It's, as we spoke last week, there really aren't any downsides. There's so many advantages, and it's a win for the municipality, the school district, the county, the neighborhood, and the purchaser.
If you
Go ahead.
If you just, I'll just go over some of the things since the land bank started, some of the partnerships that we've done, and some of our accomplishments. We took in about 4 properties a few years ago, and we partnered with the city of Scranton. They were really beyond rehab. Okay, so we partnered with the city, so their DPW department took the properties down, and we paid for the tipping fees for those properties. So each one of those 4 properties have been either sold to the next door neighbor, and so they're back on the tax rolls and they're being taken care of. Another one, there was 2 condemned properties in the hill section. The land bank, we acquired these properties and worked with the city of Scranton, and they demolished the houses. And then the United Neighborhood Development Corporation, they're an arm of United Neighborhood Centers. They bought the lots, and working with the city and leveraging CDBG funding, were able to construct affordable housing for senior living units for Geisinger's Life Program. And if you're not familiar with the Life Program, it's a nursing home preventive program that enables seniors to live independently by providing much-needed services and programming.
But it's not a nursing home.
It's not a nursing home.
Okay.
It's to keep people out of the nursing home.
Okay.
We've also worked with the Scranton-Lackawanna Resource Development Corporation, and that's an arm of the Agency for Community Empowerment, which used to be the Scranton-Lackawanna Human Development Agency. The land bank acquired and conveyed 2 properties in the city to the agency, and they worked with Johnson College for the construction of affordable housing for first-time homebuyer opportunities. There was a property that we purchased down near the Lace Company. It needed a brownfield. It was a brownfields. So we went, and through our office, we had a brownfields grant. We cleaned up the property and sold it to the Lace Company developers. And now it's going to be part of that Lace Lace
Yeah, it was
Village.
the brick building that was next door to it, right?
Right, and there was also an IRS lien on that property. See, the judicial sale doesn't get rid of IRS.
Oh, it doesn't
liens.
get rid of that. Okay.
So we were able to get that IRS lien extinguished on that property.
Wow. Well, what I wanted to talk about here is the LackawannaLandBank.com. All of the information that you're speaking of is listed on this website, and it's got pictures of properties that you had sold. It's got pictures of the current property. So, I mean, we're talking a lot about all of this, but this is the address where people really want to look a little further. It's LackawannaLandBank.com. That's really what I wanted to say. I wanted to get that in.
Right, and we're in the process now. We're going to be working with a website designer to upgrade that website.
Revamp.
We're revamping the whole county website.
Right.
Yeah, good.
So that's like I said earlier. We'd like to get those properties so that you click on something, it'll take you right to it, and instead of I don't know where this property is. Could you tell me where it is? And sometimes we don't know where the property is if it's on a repository list.
Yeah, it's all on the map. So I mean, it's actually really well laid out. It's got all the locations of the property listed as a map. Then you click on the icon, and it takes you right there. So I think it's a great website and very functional.
I remember I had a friend call me about he owned like 3 houses, and in between those 3 houses were lots. And I'm not sure if I didn't follow through with him on it. I just gave him the information Ralph's information, but he said they were on the repository and they were in Dunmore, which is participating. I won't say his name on the radio, but my point is that, there he had 3 houses, and the lots in between were non-buildable small lots, and he wanted them. And I'm pretty sure he did purchase them because his whole reason for doing so was that this way he can maintain them and,
add value to his property as well.
Right. They have, and then the other thing, and also the fact that you're not necessarily on top of each other. So there's like land in between the homes that he owns. It makes it more favorable when he either, sells his
Well,
homes
his quality of life while he's living there has increased tremendously.
Right.
And that's from a fellow Dunmorian who is on top of.
You don't want to look to your right or look to your left in a home and see a side lot or a piece of property that's
Overgrown.
completely, overgrown or not maintained. It doesn't look good for anybody in that block. Mm-hmm. I do want Ralph to talk about our work. One thing he did talk about CDBG funding. I just wanted to point out that our director of economic development, Brenda Sacco, is one of our board members, and she is amazing at her job. So it works very fluidly between the land bank and then the economic development department, and finding funding for certain things that we need or certain tasks that we're trying to carry out. And we all work together, and it really is a great process. And I'd like Ralph to talk about NeighborWorks. We do work a lot with them. Jesse Enot is he's the director, I believe.
Yeah, he's the executive director.
The executive director, and he is on our board of directors.
He's the advisory committee.
On the advisory committee of the land bank. And I also would like you to talk about if there's certain municipalities that we would really target or really wish that would sign up, because
what's their hesitation? I think you mentioned it last week.
I think it's lack of information, and I don't mean that disrespectfully. It's just that until I got really involved, it's you don't. It's not like people are out. This is something that comes up all the time, like in normal conversation, a land bank.
But it would improve their community.
Yeah. So I think lack of information, lack of control. I think maybe they're worried that we're going to do something with the property in term that they're not going to be happy with, sell it to somebody that isn't going to have that area's best interest in mind, which we don't do. I think those are the two. Right.
Again, and just if any of the municipalities that aren't members are out there listening, we don't really do anything until, we notify you of an impending application that might be approved at the board meeting, just to get your feedback on the intended use of that property.
Or maybe they think they can get more money if it's bought straight through the tax claim office, but you don't know how long that will take. And by doing it our way, the sale is done sooner and it's put on the tax roll sooner. So they start generating income from the taxes from that property.
I mean, as real estate agents, you guys know how long, and in some of the deeds, there's a person interested in a property now that there's really even no deed to the property. It's just the last will and testament of someone from 1893. Okay, so I mean, these are things that we we have to work through. In order to. I mean, the taxes haven't been paid on these ever. I mean, if it's 1893.
And the other thing is, I mean, I live right between 2 houses, so I have a pretty decent sized backyard. But in Scranton, not a lot of properties do. So if you see a side lot, why wouldn't you want that side lot if it's next to your property? So this way you expand your yard. If you have children or, for a garage for the men up there or pools or swing sets or whatnot. I mean, for $150, you can get a side lot and have a yard that you otherwise would not have if it was not for this program.
Well, there's a certain type of mentality that why buy it for $150 when you can use it and then you would own it after. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've heard somebody say, I just parked there and if I do that for 21 years, it's mine. Adverse possession.
Right.
Well, if it goes through the land bank and it's sold to somebody else, they're going to be very disappointed.
I agree. Right. All right, Debbie Dominic, one of our Lackawanna County Commissioners, Chairwoman of the Lackawanna County Land Bank. Ralph Pappas, Business Relations Manager with Lackawanna County Office of Planning and Economic Development. They're both here with us today. We're having a fabulous discussion, but we're going to head towards a break before we go, Pat.
Yes, we have something unusual in this market. It's a reasonably priced home. It's a two-bedroom home, 2-bedroom, 1 bath at 346 Lane Street in Jessup for only $125,000. This cute home, it sits on a 62 by 110 lot. It's got very reasonable taxes of less than $1,700 a year. There's plenty of off-street parking along with a side porch, 2 sheds for storage. This home is in very good condition, and you could probably own this home for less than you are now paying in rent. That's a 2-bedroom home at 346 Lane Street in Jessup for only $125,000, and that's listed by Karen Kashuba of our office.
Thank you, Pat. And I want to talk about Sam Shelta at our office is looking for properties for his buyers. We're still looking for listings for people to sell their properties. He has a pre-approved buyer that's looking in Lackawanna County, pre-approved up to $200,000. They want a 2-family duplex or double, doesn't matter, just a 2-unit. At least 2 bedrooms each side, some off-street parking, and 2 baths on each side. Could be larger, but that's the minimum. If you have a property that meets that description, please give us a call. We may have your buyer. Stay with us. We'll be right back after a very brief break with more Real Estate Roundtable with Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate on 94.3 FM The Talker.
Who are Century 21 agents? They're high-tech gizmo-packing problem solvers with an appetite for getting things done. They know the best places to buy a home, to sell a home, and to find antiques, if you're into that kind of thing. They're weatherproof, foolproof, and proof positive that smart people doing good work can make big things happen for great folks like you. Oh, and there's one nearby. This is who they are. This is what they do. Century 21 agents. Smarter, bolder, faster. Each office is independently owned and operated.
Hi, this is Jackie Ruddy from Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate. Is real estate on your mind? It's on ours 24/7. Whether you're buying, selling, investing, or in need of an appraisal, you have questions, we have answers.
Thinking of buying or selling a house and have questions? Tune in to the Real Estate Roundtable hosted by locally owned and operated Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate on Saturday mornings at 11 and Sunday mornings at 11:30.
Call 570-344-6724 or visit jruddy.com. That's JRUDDY.com. Welcome back to the Real Estate Roundtable with Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate on 94.3 FM The Talker. I am Jackie Ruddy, broker, and with Pat Devaney, my husband, fellow realtor.
And we're back with the Lackawanna County Land Bank.
Yes, we have Ralph Pappas, Business Relations Manager with Lackawanna County, and Debbie Dominic, one of our Lackawanna County Commissioners and Chairwoman of the Lackawanna County Land Bank. And this is fascinating. I have been trying for years to talk about the land bank. For years, Ralph.
Well, I don't know what to say about that. I really haven't heard anything until...
I know.
We just couldn't coordinate this first part of the year due to schedule conflicts. But, I'm glad we're finally here and talking about it.
Yes, because this is a great topic because I love what you do. You're putting properties back on the tax rolls. It's benefiting the neighborhood, the community. There's so many advantages to the land bank, and there are really, as Debbie mentioned multiple times, no downside.
There isn't. And as an attorney, I've looked, and there's no downside.
Okay.
Not one.
So...
Well, what we'd really like to do, I think, is, appeal to all the municipalities out there who are not members of the land bank to be in touch with, you can be in touch with me, and I'll give you my phone number, 570-963-6830, extension 1358. And, we can set up an appointment or schedule something with either the township and just give you an overview of the land bank, and you can make your decisions. But as far as there's really no downsides. I mean, we don't do anything within your municipality without your approval.
And even if you don't have a lot of properties on the repository, that doesn't mean that we don't want your participation in the land bank, right, Ralph?
Right, and just like I not to repeat myself, but we do have that power. If your municipality ever needs us to, if you ever need a parcel to do some kind of a public improvement within your municipality, and that property is going through a judicial sale, we have that power of the preemptive bid to get that property for you.
So a municipality may not want to join the land bank because it's an agreement between the taxing bodies, the county, the school, and the municipality, right? So that's where that agreement has to exist. But a municipality that doesn't want to join the land bank because they don't want development, what do you like on a say a piece of land?
Either they don't want development, or maybe they don't want to lose control or say over what that property can be used for or who it can be sold to. And what, Ralph, can you speak on that briefly?
Well, again, I mean, once I notify that we have a person who wants to buy a piece of property within your municipality, you can either give us the thumbs up or the thumbs down.
And we won't sell it if it's something that they don't want developed. We don't do it.
It does not go through the board process of acquiring that property and conveying that property. It won't even get as far as the board is concerned.
So if I purchase a property through the land bank, and then I decide that, oh my gosh, the taxes are way too high, can I appeal those taxes?
Yes, you can. Yep.
But there are some there's some counties that
there are some land banks throughout the state and who tell their purchasers that they can't appeal the taxes for 5 years. But at this point, the Lackawanna County Land Bank, you purchase a property through the land bank, you are able to appeal those taxes.
Is every county in the state, do they have a land bank?
Right off the top of my head, I don't know if every county does. There are 26. There are 26 land banks, approximately 26 in the state. We were probably fifth or sixth in the state, and we're also a member. Before I forget, we're also a member of the Land Bank Network, where we meet quarterly with every land bank throughout the state, virtually. And, we talk about the issues that come before us, if there's any problems or anything like that. And just recently, in fact, we do a lot of work with the Housing Alliance, okay? Housing Alliance of Pennsylvania. And they had, they put out an application to apply for a $10,000 mini grant that would be used for affordable housing. So every land bank in the state applied for it, and we were one of only 5 to get a $10,000 grant. Now, we have to use that $10,000 towards affordable housing, and we have 2 years to do it. And that funding came from Truist Bank. So I think there was 5. They gave $50,000 to the Alliance to give that money out. So
good.
Again.
And you're also aligned with, you have an alliance with NeighborWorks.
Right.
Of Northeast PA.
Right. We have a great partnership with NeighborWorks, with Jesse Ergot. We work with NeighborWorks to establish a blight task force, and we assisted the development of a county-wide blight remediation plan. We also educated Lackawanna County municipalities on addressing blight, and we coordinated a code enforcement workshop with municipal officials. NeighborWorks did all that on our behalf. Also, we're working with them at the eventual development of land bank property in West Scranton. NeighborWorks applied for an LSA grant to clean up some of the land bank properties in West Scranton. They have a huge project going on right now, along with United Neighborhoods, who has a project going on to revitalize Pine Brook.
So in essence, by participating in the land bank, when people purchase these properties in a municipality that participates in the land bank, they have access or resources of these organizations that we partner with, and grants and potential help with demolition. They have access to resources that they may not otherwise have had the property not been part of the land bank process.
Ralph Pappas, Business Relations Manager with Lackawanna County. Debbie Dominic, one of our Lackawanna County Commissioners and Chairwoman of the Lackawanna County Land Bank. We appreciate so much the 2 weeks that you gave to us and the wonderful work that the Land Bank does. So thank you so much. We're out of time. Thanks for tuning in to the Real Estate Roundtable with Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate. Remember, join us next Saturday at 11 a.m., Sunday at 11:30 a.m. on 94.3 FM The Talker.